Welcome to Ask Fear and Greed, where we attempt to answer listeners' questions, or more appropriately, Sean does. Good afternoon, Sean Aylmer.
Oh, I'm a bit worried. You said I attempt to answer the questions. I fully answer them, Adam Lang. Fully answer them completely.
Authoritatively answer the questions,
Yeah. I speak loudly and hope that it makes sense. Go on, yes?
With confidence. Marg on LinkedIn has sent this one through, Sean. Says, why does oil seem to affect the price of everything? I get it having an effect on petrol prices, but it seems like everything else is timed to the price of oil too. Is it just because of manufacturing, or is there more to it?
The answer is in the question.
Not a simple question.
No, well, she's answered the question without realising it, because it is actually mostly about transport. It's a great question. So oil's central to global economic growth and inflation. We always talk about oil, and when we do our daily shows, we mostly mention oil because it is the most important commodity. What do we use oil for, right? Petrol, jet fuel, and then stuff like lubricants, kerosene, some gas liquids, but a lot of it's sort of energy, petrol and jet fuel, that type of stuff. About 2/3 of petrol products are consumed in transportation. Really important to keep that in mind. Another big chunk, about 30%, is in manufacturing, and that's sort of plastics, road construction materials, that type of stuff. A relatively small amount of oil is in residential, commercial, and electric power. So transport is really the big one. Primarily, we care about oil and oil prices because of transportation, and then to a lesser extent, the cost of manufacturing. If oil prices are higher, we pay more at the petrol bowsers. Marg made that point. That's exactly right. You pay more to take a flight as well. There's a direct impact there, but there's also an indirect impact. If oil prices rise, the cost of moving goods around the world, or even from Brisbane to Melbourne, by ship, by plane, by truck, increases. Suddenly the goods on the shelf are just that little bit more expensive because the transport costs are higher. And this secondary effect is what can really push prices up across the economy. Now, when the Reserve Bank thinks about inflation, we have this thing called the headline rate and the underlying rate. And we always say the difference, well, one of the main differences between headline and underlying is we take out petrol prices, which is true. But oil prices still feed through to that underlying rate because of transportation costs. So higher oil prices certainly act as a driver in inflation and slows economic growth. The direct effect, costing more to fill up your car, spend less on other stuff because it's costing, $100 to fill up your car, not $60 or $70. The indirect effect, higher transport costs feed through to final prices. One little aside to all this, oil, of course, is priced in US dollars. So the weaker the Aussie dollar, the more expensive it is for us. Just an add-on. Now, Adam, given you didn't say a word through that, so I don't know whether you were bored or whether you were interested or whatever.
I was just thinking about it, Sean. You think about the stuff you buy that doesn't need transport, be it software, services, of course, where you have to go somewhere, you still have to travel. It's almost the transport is almost in everything. I was wondering whether it's easier to talk about the stuff that petrol or transport isn't involved with, so
yes.
you can see how it creeps into everything.
You are right. Like services in an interesting way. So education. At one point, they used to go to university or used to go to a TAFE college. So much of that is online. So maybe transport costs don't hit that as much.
Yeah.
But transport is sort of everything. And that's kind of why oil matters so much. It's mostly about transport rather than anything else. I've got a test for you though, Adam.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that.
Go ahead.
You get this out of three.
I think that's the look of gratitude, Sean. Love a test.
You've got to give me the biggest producer of oil, the biggest exporter of oil, and the biggest importer of oil.
Middle Eastern countries.
Well, hold on. So producer, exporter, importer.
Oh, God.
So producer, biggest producer.
Saudi Arabia. It's a guess.
I know, but you should have guessed the other one.
Russia.
Yeah. Biggest producer is actually Russia.
Oh.
But Russia uses a lot of its own.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so the biggest exporter, though, you're right, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi, yeah.
Biggest importer.
Oh, gosh.
Do you think of the big economies? The one that
Yeah,
doesn't.
and who don't make a lot of it, like
Yeah.
Japan.
No.
Yep.
China.
Okay.
China.
China.
Let's can it. That'll do us. I think we have answered the question. We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, Adam failed. Apart from that, oil prices
That's
get into everything. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, they do. Thank you very much, Adam.
That was Ask Fear and Greed. And if you have a question, send it through LinkedIn or submit it at fearandgreed.com.au. I'm Adam Lang. Have a great day.